Hello, I'm back reviewing Black Clover Volume 8. This one starts off where Magna and Light are fighting the Beetle, the guy who's the Eye of the Midnight Sun member who uses beast magic, and it's revealed that upon the beast, he had attacked, I think they said it was almost 50 members of the Magic Knights, and he ended up taking them all out by himself. Which does start to show how dangerous he is, because we saw him fight briefly in I think it was Volume 6. He shows up, and almost this entire volume is just everyone trying to defeat him, which I did kind of like, because it shows how dangerous and powerful this guy was, because it took almost like 10 people to try and fight him. And to reveal that a spatial magic user is keeping Yami and the head priest locked away in that one room, because the two of them are powerful enough to defeat all of the Eye of the Midnight Sun members, and so they're trying to keep them out of the way. And I think he might be the reason they got in, because as far as we know, they don't have a way to protect themselves from the water. Because we saw them in the last volume, and it looked like even with Noel's magic, they had trouble trying to get through the currents to get to the temple. So I think either the guy had been there before and teleported them to the temple, or they found some other way to get to the temple. Or they could have forced someone to get them there as well. That's also a possibility. And the head priest ends up using his powers to be able to relay messages to everyone in the temple, because his powers still work outside of the bubble that the spatial magic user put them in. And so they let everyone else know that the Eye of the Midnight Sun's there, and to basically just go all out on them and fight. I like the fact that it took so many people to try and take him down. I did feel kind of bad, because I wish we could have seen some of these characters fight longer, because Kahono and Kaito end up being badly injured, where Kahono loses her voice and Kaito loses a leg. I did feel bad that... And he ends up taking out their father too, who's touted as being the strongest, but he barely lasted a page. She's I don't mind having overpowered villains, and it takes him a while to defeat them, but I did kind of feel in this instance that he had been easier for them to take down, because even them fighting looked, they managed to injure him. Yami was able to fight him and injure him a couple points, and also Ghost injuring him. Asta managed to injure him, and he's been kind of built up to be pretty strong, so I kind of feel and I also did kind of wish that their dad had been able to fight longer with Fito to prove how strong he was. To prove how strong their dad was before being taken out. Because I said, he gets taken out in a page. He didn't even get to fight Log or Magna in the last one before the Eye of the Midnight Sun bust through the door. In this arc, Noel does end up getting 2 spells. She gets the one in the beginning, where she makes the new defense spell, and then she gets another one called a Sea Dragon's Roll. All of her spells seem to be revolve around dragons. And I do kind of feel it's kind of late, because it's been I think I mentioned in the last one, it's been 7 and 8 volumes, and she got the Sea Dragon's lair in volume 1. So it's been so long, and she's finally getting 2 new spells after 8 books. Have I been holding this backwards the whole time? I don't know, but... And it's such a powerful spell that it takes out most of her magic. And I think she's the first one to actually, badly injure him. But because he uses all of her magic, she can't even use the Sea Dragon Slayer. But unfortunately, it causes Fido to heal himself and gain a new magic mythical beast. And we get glimpses of what appears to be his backstory, of how he met looked, which seems to be what appears to be a massacre. Looked somehow found him after this, and he appears to be the only survivor. And the Fido's new magic, it seems to be some sort of old magic that looks like it's, I don't know if it's the same as the Grimoire Asta has, or the spell that found that had Syl in it, but it when he talks, it's in a different language, it seems like. He goes to attack Noelle, but Asta ends up saving her. And then Fenrol and Vanessa come to try and help out, because so far they haven't really been in the fight. And we get to see more of their magic. Vanessa uses thread magic, which she can use to grab onto people and tie them up, pull them away from danger, or I think she can probably also attack using it. What they end up doing is Vanessa had wrapped Asta up in her thread and would pull him around, and she would pull him through Fenrol's portals to attack him, and then Vanessa would pull him back out of danger. And he admits that Vanessa's magic is more dangerous because her threads have been looped all the way around the room. He can't see the thread because it's so skinny, so thin. And I don't know if it's because it's so thin, but he can't detect the magic coming off of it. He seems to be able to detect where the portals are, but he can't figure out where Asta's going to move. So I don't know how many portals Fenrol can open up, because the one guy from the capital invasion, he could open multiple portals at once. So I don't know if Fenrol is that strong yet. We found out that Vanessa seemingly ran away from her home, and we get kind of a glimpse of it. We also get a bit of Fenrol's backstory, where he was actually the heir of his family, but he ended up running away from them because they were trying to train him to, I think, use his spatial magic offensively, but he didn't want to, and compared to his younger brother, which is probably one of the reasons why we never see him fight anyone. Because so far, all he's done is teleport people away. He had joined the Black Bulls while his younger brother, Langris, is the vice captain of the Golden Dawn. And so Langris ended up becoming the head of the house over his brother. And so it seemed like he was trying to prove that he actually is winning in life, because he's doing anything he wants, and he's just living for the moment. And with his relationship with Yami, he started asking him why he let him join, even though he doesn't really attack people or fight. And Yami ends up saying, basically, you've got your own way of fighting, don't you? And so I am kind of glad we got more of his backstory, because it seemed like for a while he was just sort of in the background, we didn't see him that much. Same thing with Vanessa too, we haven't seen her fight that much. Even though we don't see Sami that much, we got a bit more of her, kind of how she fights in the capital invasion arc. And both of them are pretty inspired by Asta, where they really want to help him out. They're inspired by the fact he seems to believe in everyone. He believes in all of his friends to help him out. And he also seems to have a bunch of trust and belief in them. Because he's the one attacking Fido. He's the one who's mostly in danger right now. But he trusts both Fenrir and Vanessa to keep him safe. To continue opening the portals and Vanessa pulling him out of the way before Fido can grab him. He does end up grabbing Asta when Asta stabs him with I think it was the demon dweller's sword. No wait, no. What was the name of the sword? There was the demon dweller's sword and the demon something sword. I had it in here too. Cause the sword he's using is the one that absorbs magic. Not the broadsword because of the pattern on it. No, okay, it is the Demon Dweller sword. The first one is the Demon Slayer sword. Because this one's a lot smaller so you can attack faster. But he's unable to pull away and Fido ends up destroying both of his arms using his magic. He almost ends up convincing everyone to give up except for Asta. But Asta, not giving up, convinces Vanessa to wrap her threads around his arms to try and fix them for the moment, so he can continue fighting. And so because the Demon Dweller sword is still inside of him, it's cancelling out his magic. He ends up realizing that he had been relying so much on his magic that he can't follow any of Asta's movements, and he thought he was doing it naturally without magic boosting it. The last touch of the panel is him being almost afraid of Asta, because Asta isn't afraid of him. He's not being affected by anything that Fido is doing to him. Either this panel is the demon in the grimoire actually coming out, or if it's just Fido panicking. But we see a demon behind Asta, and I don't know if it's because later on I've already read the ones with the Witch Kingdom, and said one of the points later on Asta meets the demon living in this grimoire, and I think it takes on the same form, but I'm not too sure because it's been a while since I read that one and wrote it down. But the final thought is him attacking Fido and seemingly winning. Yeah, I think for this one I thought it was good. Some of my main complaints, like I said, is the Fido suddenly getting the mythical beast magic feels kind of out of nowhere at the moment, because it just seemed to try and make him way more powerful than he really is. Well, I mean, he's already pretty strong, but it just seemed to kind of make him way more powerful, and I don't think there was any setup for this happening, because they do mention that people can gain new spells, but this one, it seemed to almost transform him, because he gains a third eye, and he heals himself even though his magic doesn't involve healing, it involves gaining the traits of other animals. Just the spell Noel used on him, he lost his entire right arm, and it grew back, and it should have been able to do that, because even healing magic that High Priest says, that he says the best that even the most powerful recovery spell can do is close wounds, but he just... And then Yami says these guys aren't just terrorists, there's something weirder, something abominable. And then Yami also says he grew back the arm he lost. There isn't any magic like that. And so there was, except for there wasn't really any indication that he could do this. Like, because so far his magic seemed to be like enhancing his strength, his senses. Like, they didn't seem to be anything like within his power that we've seen to be able to like reach out, like grow back an arm. Or these, because like before this, his whole magic was just beast magic. Then it's mythical beast magic. So unless Luke did something to him that made him awaken this new power when he got injured. So hopefully it gets explained. And then we did forget, we find out what Grey actually looks like. Because like the stuff with Grey, Ghost, and Zombie is kind of like buried under everything else going on. Where Grey's been using transformation magic to hide herself. Like, this is what it actually looks like. She's, what is it, 24. But Ghost doesn't seem to care that much. And I think with Grey, Ghost mentions, because they've been kidnapped by one of the Eye of the Midnight Sun members. Tommy's unconscious, and Ghost notices that Grey's magic is weird. Where he says, I've seen other guys use magic to transform themselves, but I've never seen magic that transforms other things. I think you could use that a bit more. So either it's transformation mages only ever transform themselves and not other things, or Grey's magic is somehow different than regular transformation magic, but it's not fully explained yet. I also don't think that Vanessa's magic was mentioned before this. Like, we've known about everyone else's magic pretty early on. Like, Fenwell's was mentioned in, I think, Volume 1, because she's like Yami's ride. Zombies was shown in Volume, like, 3, I think. Thus, like, we knew about Noelle's magic. Magnus was seen at Volume 1 too. Lux, I think, was like the later half of Volume 2, I think, when they go to the one temple. Like, I think this is one of those fights that I wish had lost it. Like, I think it goes a little bit into the next one, but not that much. But I did kind of, like, I don't mind Vito as a villain. I think he's good. I like the fact that he's overpowered because it takes Noelle, Ashta, Vanessa, Fenwell, Kahono, Kaito, Magna, Locke, Gio, Gaio. He's the father of Kahono and Kaito. And then I know that in the Volume 9, Yami comes in. The head priest comes in as well to try and help out. So that's like 11 people, I think, trying to defeat this one guy. I don't know, I felt like he was a bit too overpowered, if that makes sense. Especially since it took so many people to fight him. I don't know. Because I liked the hype they had in the beginning where he apparently defeated 50 mages by himself, and he's not even injured. But then, like, all of these guys are, like, everyone on this team is so strong that they couldn't defeat him. Yeah, I think that's everything for now. Peace.